Hello, and thanks for visiting Graphene Business Law. If the start of the new year, 2023, has you thinking about starting your own business, and this business involves partners, whether they're your friends, colleagues, family members, whatever the case may be, and you're curious about how to best protect the interests of each partner in the form of a partnership agreement and what goes into a partnership agreement and why they're so important, well, then you should keep watching because we'll be addressing all of those questions and ideas in this video. My name is Pamela Matani. I'm the principal lawyer and founder here at Graphene Business Law, a law firm that is able to provide legal services all across Ontario and do so virtually, and a law firm that prides itself on the quality of business law work that we do. And of course, that can involve drafting a myriad of documents for your business, including, of course, something like partnership agreements that this video is focused on. So, without further ado, what is a partnership agreement? What does that even mean? When we're talking about partnership agreements, this is an official document. Usually we see them in place at the beginning of a business, at the beginning of a new business life, okay? And we're not talking about partnerships in the colloquial sense. You know, you might have heard the term, oh, we're partners, we're doing this together, whatever the case may be. We're talking about concrete business partners of this new venture of yours that are going to have something at stake. They're going to be contributing something and that have real expectations placed upon them. So this is not necessarily a partnership for the occasional help here and there. There are other documents that can help you capture those relationships. This is more for systemic involvement into a business. Who is expected to show up every day and do what each day, and what have they put into the business, and how will what they've put into the business be protected every single day, okay? Now, of course, with the beginning of a new year, there's always, you know, like we have New Year's resolutions with health and finances and whatever the case may be. It's not surprising that the beginning of a new year brings with it the beginning of so many new businesses as well. And a lot of them do take the form of partnerships. There are two kinds of partnerships out there, it's worth noting. There's general liability partnerships and limited liability partnerships. For the purpose of this video, just because it's so much more common and so much more relevant to the everyday business person starting a business with partners, we're focusing here on general partnerships, okay? And this video, of course, is meant to enlighten you so that when you do seek that professional legal advice, you are able to hit the ground running in your relationship with that lawyer, and you have so much more knowledge coming into the meeting, and therefore are expecting so many less surprises, fewer surprises, because you're coming from that place of knowledge and self-education through including, you know, videos such as this one put out by Graphene Business Law. It goes without saying that the agreement is going to capture details such as the time and date the partnership was formed, you know, what business it pertains to, the location of the business, and those things, right? That I have to mention it just in case somebody's wondering if I didn't mention if it doesn't go with the agreement. Of course it does. However, I'd like to talk more about the meatier sections of a partnership today, of a partnership agreement. And as you can expect, those meatier sections are going to have to do almost, I shouldn't say almost exclusively, but I'll say primarily with what? Money. Who's putting how much? What are the loans? What's the cash injection? What are the assets? What's going on with the dollar signs of the business? Okay. I'm just scrolling down here. Of course, I have notes to share. I'll be talking about some bigger picture clauses and stipulations that we can find in partnership agreements and that you can expect to discuss with your lawyer when you go reach out to that professional, to that legal professional. And of course, I believe I mentioned at the beginning of the video, here at Graphene Business Law, we are certainly able to help you put together a partnership agreement that's beneficial to you and your business. Now, there are sections about loans of the partnership. Okay, so who is making what kind of loans? How is that money being protected, right? This needs to be written down and taken good care of, and amounts of the loans and debts loans on what terms are they repayable to whoever made the loan, to the business, whatever the case is. Those dollar signs coming in and out through the form of credit need to be recorded, okay? I'm just looking down here. Of course, when it comes to capital accounts, how is that money being preserved by each partner? Something that we commonly see is that separate capital accounts shall be maintained for each partner, for example. When there's additional capital contributions to the business, how is it expected that partners continue to inject cash into the business? And if it is, are those amounts capped at a certain dollar sign, $5,000, $10,000, $500? At what frequency? What's going on with extra money that you expect to see in the business? Which of course begs the question of who put how much in to begin with, right? This is something that would be recorded. And again, what a potential segue off of that or bleed off into another important section is who holds what power within the business. So just because everybody put 25, let's say there's 4 partners and they each put in $100,000 startup, they each put in 25,000. This does not necessitate that these partners will each be 25% partners in the business, right? So that's another item to think about prior to going to a lawyer and discuss with your partner so that you are well prepared how much, what voting, what shares, what power does each partner have in the business, regardless of how much capital each partner has infused into the business. And profits, losses, and distributions is another section we almost always see in partnership agreements. And of course, here we're talking about how will these profits, losses, and how will they be distributed? How will they be shared amongst the partners? Which again has to do in part with the percentage of shares and voting ability in the business. Who is getting what does not necessarily need to equate into who put how much into the business. These are choices you have in drafting your partnership agreement. Sometimes we see partners that are a little more on the silent side, on the helping outside. So if you're making a business with your parents, they might be putting in a certain amount of capital, like 50%, for example, of the capital starting your business. But they might not want 50% power or voting power or ability to make decisions over your business. They might want a much smaller share of that as, nod to the fact that they still want some say in the business, but that it is, you as their child, it's your thing and they're supporting you as a partner, but financially so. Okay. Important sections that have to do, so far we've talked about the money sections, the dollar signs, right? Other important sections in partnership agreements, and we've already kind of touched on it with the voting shares and the say, who has what say. Other important sections that pertain to that would include as well who is able to leave the business and come into the business and in what terms, right? Just because you have 4 partners to begin with or to start your business doesn't mean that that might not, for whatever reason, dwindle down to 2 people in a year. It also could go the other way. 4 partners could become 10 members if your business blows up and you need so much more capital, you keep bringing in new partners if that's a choice you make, or you bring in new partners for strategic reasons. Maybe some partners, they're good with, one is good with distribution, one's good with manufacturing, one is good with market, whatever the case may be, right? One is good with all the tech stuff that that seems to run the world these days online. So with helping you acquire customers online and concepts like that. Okay. I'm just scrolling here. I've already mentioned time and effort. So at the beginning of this video, who is expected to do what? And then we see more. So I mentioned at the beginning sections like time and date and location obviously goes without saying. Another one of those sections that's always there is if a partner dies, what do we do with our interest? But perhaps less tragically. So if a partner has acted inappropriately, how do we get rid of that partner? So these are things to think about. I'll stop the video, or not the video, I'll stop my notes there because again, the point of this is not for you to go home and feel all this pressure of, I got all these great ideas from watching this graphene video on what goes into a partnership agreement. I'm going to take it upon myself to draft this document. And that's risky business. that is not what we're talking about here, okay? Everything you've heard here, you should consult a legal professional. But like I said, this video will make you much better prepared for that consultation. But I'll pause here just to reflect on all those sections and all those ideas we've discussed, okay? Big picture with the partnership agreement, we're talking about dollar signs and power. There are special circumstances, right? So one business might be asset heavy in a way outside of capital. One business, might have intellectual property that is so substantial to its formation that we're going to want to record, take record of this every time when it comes to which partner brought what to the business and what the rights are around, those assets, right? Those things of value, which IP certainly is. But big picture, we're talking about how much and who can do what, okay? So these are things that you need to be thinking about when you're going into business. First and foremost, of course, going to business with somebody that you trust, not only from honesty and integrity perspective, but somebody whose skill set and value you trust, somebody that can really propel you forward. It can be very tricky to confuse ourselves in finding value owing to emotions attached with a certain person. Oh, my neighbor, I just they're the best. They're going to be the best business partner. My mom, my husband, my dog. I would slow it down a little bit there and think concretely. Like, you're not going into business for reasons. You can't cash out feelings, okay? Long story short, you're going into business to do something successful. Now, what you do with that success, whether it's to help, other people out and put the money all toward charity, or whether it's, to buy yourself the biggest house you can with the biggest wheels in the front, those are your priorities. That is your business, in every sense of the word, literally and figuratively. But when it comes to the success of that business, you should look to go into business with somebody who you trust, like I mentioned, from an integrity perspective and from a skill set perspective. And then the follow-up is, well, what do I trust them to do? Right? So once people have brought money to the table, or they've discussed ways, creative funding and loans that they can help take advantage of for the purpose of growing this business, well, then what does everybody do? And when it comes to big decisions, how do we decide these decisions with these people that are now involved through money and through voting power in the business, okay? That's the big picture I want you to take away. That's going to be the crucial first step of a conversation to anybody that you are considering partnering with, or anybody that's tapped you on the shoulder. Maybe you already have a business structure in place that's working really well and you've been doing this on your own for a while, but somebody's tapped you, hey, I'd love to be your partner because of your special sauce. How do we go about making this into a partnership? And maybe you see something beneficial that you can get in return from that relationship. So those are things to think about. When it comes to putting these things into action, please seek legal advice. Make it, legally adherent, make it legally beneficial, and make it, of value. It's, there's a lot of things around the house that I don't try to DIY. And by the same token, I wouldn't advise a lot of people to try and DIY legal contracts, especially those that involve other people, because that can get sticky very quickly. So do consult legal professionals. Of course, Graphene Business Law, we're here to help with all of that. Partnership agreements we are so familiar with drafting the good partnership agreements, and we're here and happy to help you with that. Our website is graphenebusinesslaw.ca, and of course you can email us anytime, info@graphenebusinesslaw.ca. So I'll end the video there. Thank you for watching. If there's any questions or any follow-ups, you can email us, reach out to us at any time. And of course, good luck with your new business, with your new partnership, and all the hopes of the new year. Thank you for watching.